Hi everyone, welcome back to Nexus Fast Facts. Once again, I'm James Baggley, an applications engineer here at Nexus. Today we'd like to introduce our range of automatic air vents that are suitable for both residential and commercial applications. But first things first, I'd like to just address, well, what is an automatic air vent and how does it work? So what we have here is we have our automatic air vent, we have our float valve. What happens is, as air collects at the float valve, it drops. It pulls down on the mechanism here, which opens the venting valve, which allows the air to be vented from our system. First in our lineup, I want to talk about our Flexvent. It's small, it's inexpensive, but it's far from basic. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the shut-off valve. So if the Flexvent ever needs to be serviced, what you can do with this valve is you can remove it without having to isolate or shut down the system, because as you remove it, it shuts itself and isolates itself from the system. What we'd also like to talk about is the fiber washers inside the cap. And what these do is, if you ever have debris that gets in and trapped inside the vent, what you'll typically find is that it can spit and it can put water onto the floor or maybe onto your ceiling tiles and cause damage. So what these fiber washers do is they swell up when they come into contact with water, and that blocks off the automatic air vent to avoid that consequential damage. Next in our lineup, I want to talk about our Flexvent top. It comes in a free 1/8 inch connection and a 1/2 inch connection. And what you'll notice is we have a very big of a difference on the top of the vent. It has a conical shape, and what this does is it creates an air gap which prevents water from getting up into the mechanism and spitting out of the top of the vent. I'd also like to address that there's a PSI difference between the operating pressure. So we're looking at 90 PSI operating pressure on the Flexvent, and onto our top and onto our Pro and Super, we have a 145 PSI. Last but certainly not least, we have our Flexvent Pro and Flexvent Super. So on our Flexvent Super, we have a 3/4 inch connection, and on the Flexvent Pro, we have a 1/2 inch connection. So what we have here is we have a larger body, and these are our best performing air vents for air removal. The difference between the Pro and the Super is this 3/4 inch garden hose connection. And what we find is when people install these, what they like to do is they like to connect a garden hose onto the end of the valve so that they can run a hose down to a more convenient area or a drain, for example. And then if there is any potential spitting, it eliminates that problem entirely. So last thing what we want to do is we want to just show you the comparison between the vents. So I like to refer to this as a good, better, and best. So in our good category, we have our Flexvent, which is the lower graph here. We have our Flexvent top above that in orange. And at the top, our best performer, we have our Flexvent Super and Flexvent Pro. Thank you for joining us today for this episode of Nexus Fast Facts. For more information on the Flexvent range, shoot us an email at fastfacts@nexusvalve.com, or you can visit us at our website at www.nexusvalve.com. And we'll see you guys next time for the next edition of Nexus Fast Facts.